action on the Bravo stream. Clutch and Dave Walsh, joined by Akave and Complexity here in Pool A. And right now we have Complexity being the team that survived their Friday and looking to continue their at least tournament run here. They're going to have to take down Akave. And Akave, actually a team that normally, Dave, comes through the winner's side of the open bracket, actually got knocked out by Legion, or down I should say, and then finally made it out to the elimination side of open bracket. So they play against Complexity, a little bit more difficult of a pool you would think, but off to a good start here in game one.
Yeah, I mean, they got 3 off the rip. They started to move this flag across. Feels like they're taking a little longer with this flag, but I also don't hate it. Sometimes we have teams get a little ahead of themselves. They get a little lead, they throw that lead away, they try to overextend, they try to press the advantage too far, and I like this. Just take some time, snag some slays. You did say the Complexity survived, but they're barely alive, and it's point Complexity. They know what's at stake in this series.
Yeah, basically,
player, whoever wins this is likely going on to bracket play.
Yeah, basically a must-win for both teams, you would think, as Complexity not able to win either of their series yesterday, and Akave, a team that normally makes it to pool play, has all the experience from getting to this point on Saturday. It's a matter of can they advance from this point is the big question. So probably the team Complexity didn't want to see is a team with this much experience, and that experience, to your point about the patience that we saw on the first flag run, that's what veterans usually do. They usually are making those heads-up plays, not letting the moment get too big, and Akave is going to give everything to Complexity they can handle.
Yeah, but just like that, going to flip on its head a little bit. Complexity trying to run a flag during this chaos. I thought that they were clear in that situation. They had a couple picks on the road. They were running all the way back, and so I feel like this is a bit more home safe, but never too certain with this chaotic situation.
Does look like KingNick is able to get it into his own generator now onto the bridge, and it's going to be his teammate that steals the cap from him. Mental, able to get awarded with that first point, but you're not really bothered by that. You're tying this game up, and that's what's really important. KingNick still not yet to find a kill, but a great flag run by him, good patience by him, and great teamwork from Complexity. Not only get them a cap, but get them map control immediately after.
Let's see what KingNick decides to do here. Does he help try to push him to his flag? Looks like his teammate's going to grab that camo. KingNick can go on the offensive.
Yeah, here he comes. Multiple players spotted on the shrooms. Good shots on the Magico. Going to be able to give that information that these players are no shield. You see all of Complexity swarming the base right now. They're able to get that flag out the window as well. Player that spawns peak in Acid, he gets knocked down to no shield, and this is awesome for Complexity. However, the flag carrier does go down. One of the players on the pink steps able to take that flag carrier down before he can get across halfway, and that's really the true mark of how far can this flag go. Does it cross that halfway point to give you leverage for your respawners?
Yeah, and it looks like great defense there from Akave. I also want to credit KingNick there. I felt like position was perfect. Knew exactly where spawners were at on Akave, just sitting there over in the courtyard, shooting back and forth to the table. And after that, once they had the kills, moved over towards Util to block the spawns and allow them to spawn in the fridge.
Yeah, you know that this Complexity team is going to have, especially a game type like Aquarius CTF, down to a science. So immediately that ticker in his head told him the spawners were there. And that benefited them for the moment, but unfortunately not able to continue that flag run because the flag carrier did get taken down. That flag returns. And from that point, Akave has done a great job to get a few kills, get some map control, and now in Complexity's generator, exactly where you want to be. A round of slays will get Akave a flag on the move.
Here's Leuor grabbing this flag and running with Util. That's sometimes one of the chaotic situations where it feels like the right thing to do. Action has been taking place. You see some teammates taking damage, and you want to grab that flag to pull distraction. But in the end, this is what's going to cost Akave a flag. That was a free death on the person who was furthest pushed up across the map. I expect Complexity to escort this one all the way back and go up to a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, it's not often we see a pink run of the flags. It's usually through the car side of the map, but this flag run is going to work out for Complexity, it appears, as the last player alive is Drift, and we can see Drift in his own generator right now, so that flag going to give Complexity the 2-1 lead. They're making it work no matter what the situation is, and I think that's something we traditionally see from RyaNoob. Maybe some like untraditional objective routes that work out, so Complexity showing some versatility here in this series already.
Yeah, it feels like Akave making a couple mistakes that are costing them caps, but in the end, it's good to know that's kind of their mistakes, not them being fully outplayed. It feels like their mistakes are being capitalized on.
Right, it's something that can change throughout a game and a
yeah.
series. So let's see if that's going to be the case. Magico with some good shots. Acid and Drift actually the ones that find the kills. KingNick, however, sneaking away with the camo. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Leuor looking for KingNick, but can't spot him until KingNick decides to reveal himself with some good damage onto Leuor. You see the assist come through from Mental, and that's more map control, and now a camo player in KingNick that could be anywhere right now. Akave on their back feet.
Let's see what KingNick decides to do here. This camo gets those picks. He likes this table position when they're stuck on the flag. This could be 2 players rolling in over a dead body on the flag, so not going to be a surprise where they're coming from, but that flag is moving across towards util. They know where the spawns are, and they just have to cut them off.
Yeah, a complete wipe of Akave. It is going to be a couple of players that were able to overextend, but good damage from KingNick. Even better repositioning here. Magico looking for him, but he can't find him. Camo saving KingNick's life there, and it's Akave really being disrupted by that camo. That flag could have been stopped, is stopped momentarily, but with KingNick doing so much damage and distraction, you think it's going to get punched in. You know it's going to get punched in. 3-1. Complexity take the lead.
And just hearing we don't hear it ourselves without listening here, but you know there's some chaos on the comms there from Akave. Be like, guys, stop.
Camo stopping, camo
stop there. And then Magico turning around saying, where?
I don't see
what
you
talking about. Are you sure?
Well, he is invisible, so.
Yep.
Making it difficult, but I mean, like, great route choice, even like as minor as it was. We don't talk about like how the minor movement of his choice to jump up on the top mid ledge, the untraditional route there really made it more difficult, because if he's just walking at him from top pink, he probably does spot that camo.
For sure.
A great play nonetheless by KingNick with that camouflage. It's awarded Complexity a nice lead, and still in charge of the map right now. Cherished feeling himself with the challenge, able to get some help from his teammate, but great damage from Cherished, and this flag on the move. Their flag, however, needs to be returned as Akave tried to get a pull at the exact same time. Maybe another mistake that we saw earlier. 2 flags being moved at the same time usually is going to benefit the team that gets the first kill.
Yeah, it's going to be who's getting those slays and securing it, and they're running the same direction. I also like the fact that Cherished was there ready to run the flag if necessary, but when you're feeling yourself and you're getting the kills and leading the scoreboard, you have to just tell your teammates, like, yo, you're running this time. I'm sorry. You grab the objective. Yeah. I am slain.
I'm in the zone right now. Let me do it. Cherished at 19, 8, and 11 in the zone, spotting everyone, but everyone's getting taken down before Cherished can get his 20th kill on the board. There it is, Drift. Perfect shots from Cherished will knock down Drift. 3 go down. Akave back on respawn. And this control from Complexity has got to be the most impressive level of control we've seen throughout this game. Back-to-back flags now on the move, and it is a 4-1 lead. And Cherished didn't want to run that flag. Killing spree, he said, I'm going to slay.
Honestly, I love the play. I think at this point, the only way that Complexity are going to lose this game is if they somehow lose control of the map and lose the slays. And right there, Cherished saying, I see 2 people top pink. They're not going to expect the flank. Go straight for the flank and commits to it. Yeah. I love the fact that there just wasn't the hesitation. Wasn't the, I'm sitting here top of their flag for 10 seconds. Do I now move?
In a closer game, maybe he pulls the flag, Jim, but with the level of control they have and the dominance that they probably are feeling right now, I do like the idea that we're just going to keep putting them on respawn and giving ourselves more and more opportunity and map control, because I think once you're focused on map control more importantly than anything, that 5th flag isn't going to make the difference, you'd think, with 3.5 minutes left now. So Cherished more focused on maintaining that, does have a perfect flank, and now back on board with Cherished, gets some wingman assists, 24, 10, and 12, and this is the Cherished you need to see wake up on Saturday for Complexity if they want to go on a run.
Yeah, I think all these teams, I'm sure these players had to have a heart-to-heart and just saying, hey, all right, Friday didn't go our way. Saturday's a new day. We can kick it off. Win this pool play match. Start off strong and then go into bracket play against a team who's feeling cold, a team who just got kicked down in round number 1.
And sometimes all it takes is individual accountability and stepping up on an individual level for things to start really working out for the entire team. That's what we're seeing here from Cherished, leading the way here in game 1. Mental right behind him at 19, 5, and 13. I mean, everybody's assists look great to me from Complexity, but the map control and the teamwork really is shining through. Right now, it's a stalemate of the 2 flags being out. It is going to be Complexity's flag that is still out, so Akave trying to continue this flag run, but here comes Cherished once again, and he seems to be the problem on the map because that delays this flag from getting touched. They are going to get a touch, but Cherished, has he bought enough time for the respawners to potentially deny a second cap going in for Akave Esports?
And Drift realizing that this is going to be difficult. This has
good shots, Ryan.
they feel like they've gotten burned so many times where it's like, all right, we're pulling this flag, but this seems to turn into a counter cap in most situations. But here we go. That's going to be 2 down. Leuor wants to get this one in, but they cannot give up 4 dead here. If they give up 4 dead, it's just going to be a 5-2 game.
No, and I don't think Complexity were really worried about stopping that cap as well as getting map control back in their favor. However, still a 2-on-2 situation on the map. Cherished and KingNick versus Magico or Leuor and Acid. Magico is going to respawn, and they're going to be spawning at the back of their flag. So who can get to that 50-yard mark and take some of this control? The meantime, it was KingNick. While that flag was being capped, he snuck away with the camo, and we saw the damage he was able to do the first time around he had camo. Is this going to be a repeat offender? Because if it is, this game ends shortly.
Let's see how KingNick decides to play this one. Knows a couple players over on the pink side, decides to get this flank. Slight hesitation on the first shot, but that's okay. He knows where this last one's at. He knows there's one more player. Bottom pink finally takes out Acid. And those are the kills. That's going to be all 4 down. They're going to go for this 5th and final flag.
Nothing worse than when you think you're being sneaky, but you got seen doing it, and that was a perfect nade from KingNick that kicked off this flag run. All 4 coming off respawn for Akave, spawning towards the pink side. You got to believe, and right now KingNick getting the information that it's go time, baby. We're going to end this game on our terms with this 5th flag. He's going to actually wait to get his shield back. I feel like he could have made it. Takes his time, punches it in, and that's almost perfect gameplay from Complexity. There was a couple of times they lost control. Of course, Akave is going to get a cap or 2, but the control in the game always felt on your terms from the Complexity side throughout game 1.
Yeah, I felt like they had control majority of the time. It felt like anytime Akave overstepped and grabbed an extra flag, they were punished for it. So we are going to see how they decide to bounce back on this one. And
Dave,
West,
I'm hearing some yelling. I'm hearing some yelling from across the stage. That's an upset. It is going to be Mindfreak, who is up 2-0 in the series against Optic Gaming, and now have clutched it out in game 5. So Optic win games 3 and 4 to push this series the distance over on the other stream, and somehow it's going to be Mindfreak taking down Optic Gaming, and now, once again, Optic losing in pools. This is not the first time. This is not the second time we've seen them lose in pools. And what does that mean for the championship bracket come later on this afternoon? It's going to be a mess. They have played Shopify Rebellion and Winners Bracket Round 1 twice this year and have lost to Shopify both times. Optic Gaming digging themselves a hole early on Saturday. And Mindfreak now, that's their first series in pools. They can win Pool B. They can literally win Pool B if they're able to take down the next 2 teams. And those should be much easier tasks than what Optic Gaming is going to throw at you, you would think.
They're feeling good, but we will keep our focus here on B stage where we got Akave versus Complexity. We are going to see these pools being shaken up, and this might be one of the most, I would say, distracting and difficult pool scenarios that we've seen so far this season in HCS. Seems like a lot of strong squads that are already putting some strong results.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that year 4, but also the last event for Open Bracket in year 4, the last real opportunity, and players are making the most of it coming from Open Bracket. We will see you for game 2 and see if Akave can rebound and make the most of this series against Complexity. Back in action on the Bravo stream. Complexity up 1-0 after a dominant performance on Aquarius CTF, but now on to Recharge Slayer, and it looks like Cherished continuing his reign of terror from game 1, trying to compete for the camo, but it is a good job by Akave to trade some of these kills out. Camo, I believe, is still down in the hands of Leuor, and it gets removed immediately by Mental.
Yeah, Mental doing a good job making sure he's getting that flank and stopping that from getting out of hand. I like this. He goes based off until double stacks, decides to just rotate on through. So Mental gets all these scrappy kills. Good thing that he's just paying attention to all these call-outs. He's not just getting the zone, and look at that. Single kill, single shot after single shot, finding out where every weak player is across the map and doing cleanup duty for this roster.
Yeah, I actually love that he ate that angle for his camo player to get away and Cherish right there, bottom middle, instead of like baiting him because he was no shield. Even though he was weak, he said, my camo player is the priority on the map. I will die for you if I have to. Fortunately, he's able to actually benefit from a kill. That camo does get removed, however. A good job by Akave to collapse on the blue players there to take down both Mental and Cherished. So camo gets removed from the equation, and you're all tied up 9-8 now as Leuor finds the kill. It's traded out immediately to push onto White from RyaNoob. Doesn't overchow this situation, however, and because of it, Acid just turns his back and tries to get out of there, knowing that more members of Complexity are trying to push onto him, and RyaNoob picks off him for free, and they get control of a majority of the map here. This is where it could get dangerous for Akave stuck in pipes.
Yeah, still 10-10, but like you said, even though it's tied, Akave don't have positions across the map. Wisely push on through elevator while it's still open. So great job by Akave and a sick insta by RyaNoob, just knowing somebody's there in pipes since they spawned there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the whole push on the elevator, they left Drift behind, and Drift gets taken down, and that's going to make this push on the elevator a lot easier. But they did create some space over towards White, so a good job by Akave to keep moving. Now, they didn't just sit in the elevator once they got control. They push over to White. They're able to get a couple of kills, and because of it, Dave, we're still looking at a 14-all game.
Surprising there, though, from Akave, because like you said, we had them kind of trapped over towards that pipe, towards the elevator side. Seems like they had a great flank there from RyaNoob, but somehow answering their own kills as they're pushing through. I love the fact that Akave, when they're pushing out, they're committing.
Yeah.
They aren't hesitating. They're saying, we're sending 2 out towards the elevator. If somebody's there, we're hunting them down.
It's also there was a step 2 to the push as well. A lot of teams will go, let's push elevator together, and then like, what do you do once you're at elevator? It's like, no, they kept going to White. So they just kept rotating on the map, hoping to continue to get some kind of level of trades. They did so successfully, and that's why this game is still tied, even though it feels like Complexity have had control of what the map feels like so far.
But pressure coming in here from the Complexity side. They now have pipes, but evenly matched. We're not seeing either team really kind of run away with this. Every single kill has an answer of its own across the map.
Cherished shoots the nade before he can step out that door. Maybe the sound of the plasma pistol gave his location away there. KingNick tried to push across Cap without his team being ready, and because of it, pays for it with his life. And now, as Cherished turns around, he sees both his teammates alive.
That's not what you want to see. You're like, wait, we're all over here?
And
I
now
probably had this hiding spot.
They're the ones trapped in pipes. You don't check your back, though. That plasma pistol actually loses the fight, and that's a big 3 straight kills for Akave to get map controlled, shock rifle in hand, a 4-kill lead. And now, Complexity on the ropes with what was once a dominant control of the map now feels like they are the ones getting pushed and sandwiched, and Akave look prime and ready to gain a lead.
Jeremy trying to help his teammate right over here. Does not get the finish, but
RyaNoob
on the hunt. Yeah, we've seen some whack some of these grapples.
You grapple your teammate to get away? I got you, bud. That's crazy teamwork from Akave Esports. They've been teaming together a while, so no surprise there. Mental trying to push a player at elevator, but you see Drift trying to get over there to help his teammate trade. He actually gets the stick, so Drift get caught in no man's land, and it's another member of Complexity that shows up to ruin what was once Akave's real control of this map. It's going to reset here for now, but still a 3-kill lead for our underdogs in Akave Esports.
KingNick getting some nice BR shots there all the way towards Hydro, getting that finish. Crucial kill. That can sometimes be a terrible spot to break into.
Yeah.
People have so many spots they can hide, they can run away through, but more importantly, just the damage you take as you have to go across C-Plat. You just know that you're going into a disadvantageous situation as soon as you're pushing Hydro. So when you get that free pick, massive.
Yeah, you're hoping for the timing. He found the timing, and because of it, now Akave, the ones that are trying to get some level of control, it does look like a couple kills get traded back in their favor. What looked to be a surprising, successful elevator push from Complexity actually gets shut down. The 3-kill lead still remains for Akave, and with Camo coming up, we're past the 30-kill mark. These kills are going to start to matter. This Camo could be the difference maker in this game, and that's a big kill by RyaNoob to open it up, but he's traded out immediately once again from Akave.
But regardless, with all these trades, all these scenarios, it's still wild to me that we have not seen much of a lead more than like 3 or 4 kills throughout this game. The team so evenly matched, and I think we're going to see at one of these moments where we see kind of 3 or 4 go down. We saw it once from Akave as they're hunting down Complexity. Are we going to see that once again? Otherwise, we are in for a treat for this game.
Yeah, a tied game. I'm not sure quite where that Camo is. I think it's in the hands of Complexity. Yep, Cherished is going to have it. Akave stuck in pipes. We saw them have a successful pipes hold before. Can they do it again, especially when they have to do it against a Camo player? Cherished not quite sure that they're all stuck in pipes.
Info,
so
yeah,
Complexity
maybe taking this extra time to clear out the rest of the map, saying, okay, I know there's some in pipes, but is there a lurker somewhere else?
Now they know, and here comes Cherished. Gets the player to no shield, gets a melee, gets a nade down, and you want to see a second melee there potentially because a melee would have made that kill possible. Acid actually still alive for the moment. He gets taken down, but good trades in a very disadvantageous position. You do end up getting a 2-kill lead for Complexity, but that could have been a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Absolutely. Didn't seem like he was kind of thought he had a plasma grenade, I think, trying to go for just that stick trade. But in the end, Complexity coming out far ahead in that one.
Magico.
I think it's more Akave kind of just putting themselves in a corner. You put all 4 people in one spot on the map like pipes, you're kind of asking for trouble. Yes, it can work out sometimes. Yes, sometimes you can win those exchanges and barely stay alive. But more often than not, these top teams, they know how to hunt you down. They know how to punish you.
behind enemy lines right now. A double kill killing spree. Tries to get the triple on the Acid. Acid gets the better of him there, but Magico trades out yet another kill. 45-43 now. Kills are at a minimum 46-44 Complexity. The chaos right now, thriving in this chaos, continuing to extend this lead to at least 2 is big.
Another missed melee there by Cherished. Obviously going for that 3-shot melee, trying to finish the kill. But once again, 1-kill game from what looked like Complexity kind of running away with us, getting the lead they need. Now only 1 kill separating these 2 squads.
Drift with the ballsy play there, but RyaNoob finds a kill on the Magico as KingNick finds one on the Acid as well. 48-45, Akave now down 3. They get information that players are stuck white, but you're in no man's land right now, Drift. Camo will be coming up shortly, but I don't think it's going to be a factor. 2 players in the Mangler pit. Yeah, you got 1 and no shield, but you gave your life to do it. And now 49. Complexity need 1 more kill. Magico blue plat, but Mental with the shock rifle and the kill feed is going to do it himself as Complexity find a way to close the door on game 2 and take the series lead 2-0.
They finally got a few kills on the board. They finally found where players are stuck across the map. It was interesting how Cherish used that camo just to secure the rest of the map, and then they just all collapsed on pipes. And that was really the defining moment of that game.
Yeah, they were able to get that 2-kill lead and really kept that 2-kill lead up until those final moments. There was actually an unbelievable play in awareness from Complexity there at the end where Drift pushed into white. He was able to get a kill, and I thought to myself, that is a ballsy push, and you just benefited greatly from it. But the rest of Complexity that was still alive towards blue actually went bottom middle to Mangler door and actually flanked up white, knowing that all of Akave was pushing through white into blue looking for them. And that rotation right there is what really sealed the deal. That's why there was 2 players in the Mangler pit. They actually came from blue plat. I think one might have spawned bottom elevator, but the last player that should have given up a life and maybe a lot of map control for Complexity actually hit the perfect timing and route in order to stay alive, and it made all the difference there. 50-45, but that game was a nail-biter the entire way through, Dave.
One thing I want to highlight, if we go back to the shots fired screen, was look at Acid's accuracy. On one hand, it's super impressive. The other hand, you got to wonder, is he not doing enough peak shots? Is he not laying enough shots across the map? Is he just, not doing enough? I mean, I'm seeing he has lowest shots fired, most shots hit.
Yeah, tough to say, especially like
Small sample
without
size.
seeing his point of view, but I'll tell you something about Acid, man. I play him in the playlist all the time, and I can tell you, he don't miss. He is one of the, even a year ago, I remember playing against him, and I play against, the Formals of the world, the Bounds of the world, the Legends of the world. I'm like, this kid is like
you get locked into a mid-range fight, and it's like you're hoping for at least one bullet to miss.
He gives me the same dose of medicine the other guys give me, is what I'm trying to say. So, he has really impressed me, and it's great to see him. I think he started on a lesser team in MX throughout Halo Infinite, and now he's teaming with players like Drift and Leuor, guys that have kind of made a name for themselves across several titles. So I'm glad to see Acid playing at a high level. I know they're down 2-0 in the series and not where you want to be against Complexity, because you're thinking to yourself, this is the series we need to win if we want to extend it. But I'm excited to see more of Acid, and that 72%, I've seen that plenty of times. Back on Bravo, back with Dave Walsh. It's going to be Lattice, King of the Hill here, as Complexity have a 2-0 lead over Akave. On board with Acid right now, a player that's really impressed me throughout his short stint of a career here in Halo Infinite. Let's see if he can get his team back into this as they pick up a couple of kills early on. I'll say 1 kill, as only 1 kill has gone on. But Cherished in the hill, he spotted and naded out. Good job by Acid to deny some early hill time from Complexity. Now trying to hunt down Cherished, he's able to do so. But because he takes that angle, he gives himself up as well. And Leuor, in the meantime, has found himself the snipe.
Yeah, these teams and players realizing on this map that for a couple of these specific hills, you need to have a nade in your back pocket if you want to get people out consistently. If you want to get someone out of Crystal, or you want to get someone out of Ice.
KingNick doing a great job of hiding behind that rock, and now finally flushed out, but not before getting about 60% of that first hill in Complexity's favor. Let's see how strong Akave's response is here now that they've got control of the hill themselves. They spot RyaNoob in the bottom of River. They're collapsing on RyaNoob, but they give up a lot of map control in order to do so. They get a numbers advantage in their favor momentarily, but 2 down now, and the hill player, he can't defend against the height advantage that you have from Crates and Mental right there. Mental able to get a kill, but can't get the stick because the repulse from Magico. That was very impressive. Micro right there for Magico to be able to get that kill and stay alive, and now because of it, able to find a kill and another assist. So a great job by Akave to respond here, and now the first hill, highly contested, and Complexity had maybe 1 minor push here before this hill goes into Akave's favor.
I like this play. They're just bailing in this case. They realize they don't have the firepower to stop this one from being captured. Try to revert and see if they can control over at blue or red.
Yeah, you could tell they were giving it up at that point. Hill moves over to red, so it's going to favor Akave once again. Magico finding that kill onto Complexity here. Spots the respawners over towards bottom blue pipes, and with that, Akave start game 3 off the way you want to see, Dave. They need a response, and this is the last game that they would have the chance to do so if they fall short. A great job to start this game off hot. 1-0 and early progression in Hill 2.
I like this play. Magico realizing too much pressure kind of coming from both sides. Decides to step out of the hill. Doesn't want to be a free kill. At this point, wants to go out, flank out, see if he can catch someone from Complexity off guard. Yeah,
but Complexity actually overextends towards the ramp, and because of it, he kind of gets left out of that combat loop for the most part. His teammates go down. He is able to take down Cherished, no shield, but Cherished gets the better of him. Cherished has been shooting so far this morning, and with those shots, it is going to be Complexity taking advantage and getting some solid progression here on hill number 2. Tied up now with Akave in the hill progression, and it's going to be Akave with one strong push to top middle before this hill all of a sudden goes into Complexity's favor, and a couple of kills from the back. KingNick with a perfect flank on those players trying to push across top mid will give Complexity control once again.
And interesting play from Acid, knowing that sniper's up, deciding to back down. Can't tell if Akave are going to send the numbers they need in order to secure the snipe. Looks like they finally decided to push up towards Catwalk. Almost punished, though. KingNick trading out damage and eventually losing his life.
I don't know where Magico came from, but he kills the kill guy by a flank, and because of it, you see Akave in the hill now. As all the combat was going over towards blue, focused on that snipe, Magico sneaks behind Complexity, able to kill, not only knock the guy out of the hill, but get the hill in his team's favor. Now this hill so close, but Complexity get toes in off screen. Leuor has nothing to say about it, and right now the game tied up. Leuor across the map from where the new hill is, but No Scope and Cherished is going to make his journey across this map a little bit easier.
Yeah, I can't tell if it was a great player blunder by not getting some extra focus on the hill there. But end of the day, let's say he turns his back and helps shoot the hill for a second. 2 players top tower, take him out. It's lose-lose.
Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Early hill time going to Akave as they were able to rotate before Complexity with the help of that snipe from Leuor. But Drift now trying to take down Cherished. The thrust going to make it so difficult as he goes over his head. Sees you again through the door. You guessed the route right, but Cherished shooting once again at 10-2 and 7, able to get that kill, and now able to get into this third hill. And this is a difficult setup to break, Dave, because it's so enclosed. It's one of the few hills that's enclosed on this map, and you really have to get in there. That's a great start by Acid by getting in there and taking down Cherished. And now let's see if Akave can wipe out the rest of Complexity.
There goes 3. Mental last one alive, and see how he plays this. I like this. Just patient. He's going to be kind of the first one up. I don't know, almost even a little too early, but at some point you almost can't go wrong by shooting when your teammates are shooting.
Yeah, how far do you have to back up in order to be on the same page? He does get caught out. RyaNoob, the last player alive, he's only got 1 kill to his name. Make it a second, but not gonna cut it. And that's Akave going up 2-1 now. A perfect hold from them once they got that green control. It was tough for Complexity to break, actually impossible, as they perfectly capped that hill. 3 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock, so sometimes we see this game stall out as the hill moves towards the catwalk position, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time around.
No, still too much time out there, and both these teams hungry. It seems like Complexity having more control over at blue, stepping in there temporarily, but Acid eventually can get hunted down here, but it seems like his teammates maybe have his back over from ice and red side, so it might be a little safe, but there is one flanker. Who is that? It's going to be Mental, consistently flanking on this map. Reaching a lot of success, but sometimes also leaving his team out to dry.
Yeah, a good kill on that player, but in the meantime, you really want these blue spawns, and look at where Akave are now. They're inside blue. Mental's able to find 1. There's going to be 2 more players to deal with. It's going to be a handful for Mental to deal with, especially as he turns around, sees Complexity kind of across the map from him, not able to help assist him with that, and he's going to get taken down eventually as he's very exposed on the outside of that blue. Your clock is ticking as Akave step out. They take him down. They continue to control blue, but Cherished going to minimize that level of control with a kill of his own. But here come the rest of the the swarm from Akave. Now they have a snipe in Magico's hands. They want some hill progression themselves here, and they're not going to opt to play any sort of time here. The snipe in the hill can be the most powerful position if he's not the first one looked at here.
God, and they got such a strong setup here. They have Acid over towards top tower, who has extra angles. He also can just back into blue at any moment if he receives too much damage just like this, while Acid grabs time if he needs. So this one's a really strong position for Akave.
I'm not quite sure how he saw that through the scope of his gun right there, but almost a quick scope onto that player. 3 do go down, so all you had to do is hit one body and your teammates are doing the rest. That's a very nice place to be if you're Magico in this position. I'll get the hill even if I have snipe. If I land a body, you guys are taking down all 4. Complexity, that's an impressive performance. He says, I actually want to get involved in the action. Hits a nice quick scope there. 3 down for Complexity. This hill looking like it's going to go to Akave to give them a 2-point lead.
Like this play, though, he knows someone pushing in from the blue side. Can't find him just yet. There's RyaNoob eventually spotted.
Oh, wow.
RyaNoob ends up getting both before taken down. And now blue spawn's kind of up for grabs. Looks like Drift's going to move back in to get those spawns for his team again.
Yeah, this is a big kill. Can Minto get this kill onto Drift? The thrust is going to allow Drift to trade, and maybe that's enough to get reinforcement spawning there. But no, Magico is spawning over towards red. It is actually Complexity that's playing through the rest of blue in order to block those spawns. And although Akave, I spoke too soon. This hill was looking like it was going to go in their favor, especially after the quick scope, but no. Complexity do just enough. The double kill from Ryan, just enough to keep this alive, and maybe they can tie this game up.
Yeah, and this one could be heartbreaking here for Akave if they lose this hill, and it's looking like they're going to. This last little battle, they're going to desperately try to stop this. It could be RyaNoob trying to screw up
my God.
last second, but no, Akave swoop in, get the final kills, get that 3rd hill, and are looking prime to set themselves up for a game number 4.
2 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time if you're Complexity, but Akave playing much stronger, I feel like, here in the later part of this series. As that push needed to happen exactly when it happened in order to go up 2 points now. 3-1. The hill moves over towards the crates, and we'll see if Complexity can get back in this. They do have early control, but these blue players are going to be pushing over towards this crates, and this is going to be a tough push to deal with.
I like that position from KingNick there. Just sitting on top of QT, denying anyone coming off blue pipes or shooting catwalk, realizing that all the players are going to be in blue. We can stay on the open here.
Yeah.
And pin them inside those doorways.
Yeah, funnel them into these doorways. That's the goal for Complexity right now, but as I say that, all of Complexity gets taken down. A great job from Akave to take their time on that setup break, too. You didn't see anybody sliding out.
Panic too much. There's like, oh, I got to force action. I have full shield. And it's like, sometimes you don't need to force it. Sometimes it's going to poke and prod a little bit. Let them use up their grenades. Let them get a little tired.
Broke them down, and now with that broken down setup, it's going to make Akave's opportunity here to compete for this crate hill so much stronger. It's about even in progression. Magico does get taken down. 3 actually go down for Akave right now. Acid, the last player alive. He's inside green. He's trying to play his life right now, but Mental on the prowl, going to get a trade, and that's good enough to get the job done for Complexity. They're going to have 70% of this hill. You know Akave want them out of this hill, but they need to be focused on where this is rotating back to ice.
RyaNoob just being really aggressive out of this hill, trying to get some damage all the way over towards red. Now forced in a 1v1 against Acid. Gets the hill. Complexity, they're alive in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got that pretty quickly, so they're not draining too much time on the clock, but now Akave, they have to decide. Of course, once they get the kills, do they step in the hill, or do they drain this last minute and try to win via time?
Yeah, I think if you're Akave, you play time, but unfortunately,
100%.
They can't get enough members on the map. They've had 2 continuously dead since that hill has been capped. Last 2 members spotted on red ramp, and that's going to stagger the respawners again. So they haven't had a real opportunity to get all 4 players alive on the map and trying to deny any of this time going towards Complexity. A minute 6 still on the clock. The hill going to be about halfway before anybody from Akave can get into a position to even get a kill right now. And you see, here comes the push, and it has to be a successful one from Akave, or we might be looking at a tie game here momentarily.
I mean, I don't want to say give up just yet, but it feels like they're trying to forcefully stop this hill. In fact, I almost say Akave needs to just focus on red at this point.
Yeah, it looks like
they
that's
used
the
that
priority
last spawn,
focus.
but now they're kind of a step behind. They were a step behind on stopping this hill. They give a few deaths. Now they're back over towards red, but they're kind of pinned in this area.
Yeah, they are in the hill, but Acid going to get caught out top middle. Does he get taken down without a trade? Yes, KingNick finds a double mental, a perfect in the kill feed. The last player alive spotted back red. Don't give him the kill. RyaNoob playing like a vet right now. 13, 15, and 17, and RyaNoob had 1 kill so long ago, but he really has picked it up in the stat department.
And look at this priority setup. You know they've gone over this position. They say, hey, as soon as we have this, we're going to have our hill guy watch bottom tower just in case one of these spawns gets wonky. We want to make sure this person doesn't slip by.
Yeah.
And once those spawns were cleared, now he's focused over towards blue pipes. Someone going towards catwalk.
Ryan kind of on an island right now. Knows players are going to be pushing from the front. Gets Leuor to no shield, but more importantly, you want to stay alive. You want to control this area side of the map. Everybody in the game alive right now. It's going to be KingNick to drop first. Magico across the map. RyaNoob actually out of ammo is forced to switch to the commando. Player pushing right next to him through the high window. He gets taken down. Great job by RyaNoob. It's a killing spree from him, but it looks like Akave have done enough on the other side of red in order to break this setup. 3 go down for Complexity. Last player alive, KingNick, challenging Acid, and that's a bad decision, as I said. I did the same thing in the playlist. Acid taught me that lesson, now teaching KingNick the lesson. And this hill, very close to even right now. Complexity spawning across the map, have a long journey to go, and so many places to check. The pressure is on.
1 down apiece. That's going to be RyaNoob and Drift down for both sides. Not stepping the hill just yet. Akave realizes the next slays decide who gets this hill and who has control of red. They realize we don't need to force the action just yet. Just as I say that, though, I believe that's Magico stepping inside the hill.
Oh my God.
That's going to be 2 down. That's going to be Mental, the very last one, trying to fight against Magico. Does get the stop on the hill, but too little, too late. They're going to scrap up these last 5 points.
Yeah, there's no way. Complexity's across the map. RyaNoob doing what damage he can, but it's not going to be enough. And Akave Esports will win Game 3 to extend this series to at least a Game 4.
Kudos to them. I mean, I saw them crumbling a bit on that 6th hill. They were desperately trying to get somebody out of the small rock, trying to pick someone across the map, trickling deaths. And then right as that happened, we even started to see miraculous plays from Complexity. I saw RyaNoob playing out of his mind, just playing it so smart, leaving players, going through an entire clip of ammo, going through his entire ammo reserves.
Yeah.
Not having anything left.
Switches
showing how long
still
and successful that life was left. That life was so successful. But in the end, just too many trickle deaths from Complexity. They weren't able to close it out. That's going to be Akave bringing it to game number 4. We got ourselves a series, Wes.
Yeah, we will see you after a short break for Game 4. And I can't wait to see if Akave can keep some momentum going and maybe push this series the distance. Back on Bravo, 2-1, Complexity lead the series, but Akave showing some resiliency, Dave. Winning Game 3 and clutching out what was a very close last and final hill in overtime. And now we have our sights set on Wi-Fi or Oddball, and this is going to be interesting because this series is so important to both these two teams' tournament lives, and it is a matter of can Complexity stop some of the momentum Akave have just built and find a way to finally close out a series this tournament.
Yeah, I do think it's totally possible. One thing interesting there, though, passed that sniper who to Nick? I think his teammate, he assumed was ready there for it, but instead, just a fight and a brawl there for that snipe. It's going to go in the hands of Akave along with the ball, so I thought Mental was doing great before then. You're feeling yourself, man. Keep running with it.
Yeah, that tells you that the communication's a little off, right? Because there was steps.
Someone's like, pass me a snipe. I don't know if there's a camo that someone's trying to pass it to.
Probably, but
yeah, it was a camo they were trying to pass it to, and you can't. You first have to secure the area before you get all fancy and try to pass things along.
Yeah, plus make sure he's ready for it, right? Because Mental saw that nobody was actually going back for the snipe. He double takes and pays for it with his life. And what would have been a strong start for Complexity if things had gone in the right direction, if they were probably focused at the task at hand. They tried to be a little bit too cute, in my opinion, and with that, it's going to be a strong start for Akave. And on the flip side, and 32-1, they lead. And they get the ball back green, so they should have an opportunity to play this as well. 3 go down, the ball actually doesn't get played. I've been in that nightmare before, Dave. And
Magico is not happy with that one then, because Magico was in a perfect spot to be able to contest the new play ball. But that last challenge there from Mental, making up for, I wouldn't say it's a mental blunder, but it was a blunder of a couple players there from the team of Complexity.
Yeah, you definitely don't put that on one player.
Yeah.
That level of communication's going
That's just
down.
2 people just too focused on the wrong thing, not securing the area before passing the goods.
Yeah, Magico now on screen. 33-16 the lead. RyaNoob trying to hide screen's door. He's not going to stay alive. That's going to give Akave a significant man advantage here. But Mental with the flank once again. Great flanks, great routes by Mental to catch some of these players off guards to maybe even up the numbers a little bit. But in the meantime, the ball being backed up in the house, Mental was forced to back up. And now back in the action, it appears RyaNoob flies in the house denies some of that ball time, and Acid actually gets taken down as well. So a good break from Complexity, and I would say that's because Mental was able to pick up that first kill that made that setup a little bit weaker than it should have been.
But as we say that, Complexity scooping up a few seconds of time. I don't know if I like this full scrappy time right here, though. Feels a little scrappy. Feels like they don't have the control they need, especially when you have someone like Acid behind enemy lines getting those picks.
I thought Drift did such a good job there to get some damage in and to get out of dodge, but Complexity one step ahead. They have a player hitting that bottom mid route in order to find that camo player, take him down. So that camo doesn't really manifest into a massive benefit, but still Akave with the ball. The scrappiness, this doesn't feel like it's a full setup, but they are continuing to extend this lead.
Mental finds himself in another battle. It feels like he's consistently having this flank mode, which I think there's a healthy balance of that. You definitely need to have that freedom, but I start to feel like Mental is almost consistently on the flank.
Yeah, I think he's having success while doing so.
Yeah.
Right now, 8-0-7. You want to see some assists come across the board. We'll see as how that playstyle really pays off, as this is surely going to go the distance on this oddball. We're just in round one, 56-30. Akave still continuing that early lead and building upon it with a 30-point lead now. Acid with the snipe in hand, and this is where things could get dangerous because I've told you, Dave, this kid, I'm not going to say he's the truth, but he don't lie. Can't hit the first shot onto Cherished. Gets information, though, that multiple players are going to be pushing towards the screen door right now. Hits one body shot, hits a second body shot, and both of those get cleaned up. And Acid doing everything right as far as staying alive. And as that all happens, the ball actually rotates out towards green. So they're not only going to have a 53-point lead, but they'll have an opportunity to play it as well.
Yeah,
Nice
not only has it been tough enough for Complexity to try to take over Garage, they now have to take over green. And once they do, they're not even going to get the ball. It's going to be Magico play ball in it right there. Going to do a quick QT in a second. Yep, there it is. Back to the same spot just to die, but that's all right.
At least you got it out of the potential for Complexity's hands and made everything difficult. Bought a little bit more time maybe. 89-30, Akave really starting game 4 off the way you want to see them if they want to push this series the distance to a game 5. Complexity, a lot of players bottom middle right now, kind of distracted by one of those players that was dummies as the ball. For Akave, once again, makes its way in the house. They're doing such a good job to prioritize this oddball, and with that, that's going to do it. Round 1 is over. Magico cleans up the last final seconds, and that was a dominant round, which seemed pretty chaotic from any player that we joined on Complexity's perspective. It seemed like Akave was always in control.
Yeah, and look at the slays. It's kind of no surprise. I mean, they were outslayed by what? We got outslayed by 12 kills in that round number 1.
That'll do it.
So, you know, you can talk about objective efficiency all you want, but if you're getting outslayed so heavily, there's not much you can do about it. That score showed.
Yeah, and I loved what Akave was able to do with the oddball with the rotations to green several different times as players were pushing screens. They're using the information and playing off of it so well. RyaNoob found himself the snipe here in round 2, but stuck in 10 zoom right now and doesn't really know where he was up until the entire Akave esports team decided to throw every single nade they had at him. It takes him off the map. That snipe gets played, but early ball time this time around will go to Complexity. Maybe RyaNoob buys enough of a distraction for the rest of Complexity to get some control here.
Mental, just not sure exactly what that second player was. Cherished, just trying to set the ultimate bait.
Just a chill guy.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, somehow gets spotted there, which is actually incredibly surprising. I don't know why they're checking the area. They must have known, they knew camo was on the map somewhere, but I don't know if you'd be scanning over towards there. I guess they just had to say, we've checked everywhere else.
Yeah,
it hasn't been that long. Can't go too far, yeah.
And the oddball's right there, so you got to think he's playing around the objective, I guess. But
yeah, at some point we were saying, where is it? You're checking backs. I'm turning around, I'm doing a 180, trying to see what's behind me.
Crossing their T's, dotting their I's, and winning game 4 right now. Akave Esports up 25-2, already won round 1, and trying to push this series, like I said, to a game 5, and doing everything that makes me believe they're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. Acid decides to drop that ball, play his life as it's a 3-on-3 on the map. Going to go back in the house, gets information that Mental's towards the small window, gets knocked to no shield as he tries to cut across that plat, and that was a bit of a rushed play from Acid. He thought he could take down Mental, but the rest of Akave able to clean up that kill on the Mental, take down KingNick as well, get that ball back in hand. And somehow, some way, Akave still always feel like they're in control of the map, no matter where Complexity are coming from.
Feels like as soon as they try to get something going, kind of gets shut down, but there we got in a similar sense. They had 3 down for Akave. Acid answers back with a double kill. Make that 3. Is he going to kill the entire team? Acid giving the perfect opportunity for Akave to get back towards garage, get control, even though 3 of his teammates were dead. Answers with 3 kills and a half-weak person against Complexity.
You don't lie, I'm telling you, Acid really stepping up for this team in a big way. Quantum's back, keeps his life alive, even though he was in a purely chaotic situation there, and now relocates, tries to hit the same flank, and the timing is going to benefit him. With Camo being the focus for Complexity, they have their eyes set on all of scoreboard. RyaNoob trying to burn that Camo is not able to burn that Camo. It's a killing spree for Acid. He's got the new Camo, a 32-5 lead with the full setup now here for Akave as they bring it back to the scoreboard. And you got to take down Acid first. Snipe is up. He did want that, but Complexity off respawn, able to compete for that snipe. And now Acid taking yet another round.
Acid has just been a thorn in the side of Complexity
and he found
for
the
this
snipe.
last minute and a half.
3 dead, 4 dead.
Complexity went from having a full setup to having Acid now having Camo, having snipe, going on a killing spree, just causing so much havoc and damage against this roster.
And look at this route he's taking. He has so much information that all of Complexity have to be towards dummies and bottom middle right now. Because he took green over to Nest, he blocked all those spawns.
My God.
And he's just ripping faces as he does it. That was me in the playlist, like I said, Dave. He impresses me so much every single time I watch the kid play. And once again, when his team needed him most, he stepped up. And right now, Akave, 65-5, dominating game 4. Round 1 was not close. Round 2, not close so far in Drift with perfect shots to match the pace that Akave are playing at. Complexity will have to create a miracle to come back in this game.
Yeah, Complexity going from feeling great, feeling good, to feeling not so great going into a potential game number 5 against a hot Akave.
Yeah, especially with the momentum they've been able to build these last 2 games. I mean, this game has not been close. You usually favor the more veteran team, the more public team in an oddball game type, but it has not been the case here. Akave right now doing everything right, quantuming back green, getting a kill while doing so. So impressive. Another player back green, Cherished with perfect shots to release some of that pressure, but in the meantime, 81 and climbing. The ball time for Magico's got to be something to mention, 111 seconds as well.
Magico realizing how important this is. Doesn't
Wow, what
want
timing.
to force, grab a few extra seconds of time, needs to get these slays. Anytime that ball is stuck over towards window or garage side, it's a battle. It's whoever gets the kills gets rewarded with the full setup. And it's now looking like Complexity might get it, but now if Acid has something to say about it.
Yeah, Acid even backing up in that situation, so impressive. He could have just gone for a trade and called it a life, but he had so much confidence that he was going to win that fight, even when it got kind of sketchy there. Great shots by him. Finally, Complexity feel like they're released a little bit of the pressure from Akave. RyaNoob found himself a Camo and a sniper in his back pocket, and if Complexity want anything to do with staying away from a game 5, it has to be in the hands of RyaNoob right now.
Yeah, RyaNoob has to make something happen here, but also need to put some more of that pressure here from Complexity. They've had a full setup, or they've had control for about 30 seconds. However, they've only marked up about 5 seconds of time on the board. RyaNoob getting that trip kill. I expect to see that ball go in his hands in a second, and there it is. Goal right now for Complexity is to rotate this ball towards green or towards tower so they have a play ball option. Right now they're exploring the green option as they have Mental and Cherished over there. Magico over on the Nest Bridge trying to stop this, but RyaNoob eventually going to make his way on over towards green.
Yeah, very intentional that Magico was trying to deny the ball from going over towards green to be able to stop them from being able to play the ball once the setup is broken. Snipe does come up in the meantime, however. 56 now to 84. It is Complexity's strongest setup of the game, but still they find themselves down 25 points. Still, they find themselves down 2 players. Magico with the snipe now in hand, and the ball gets played, but Complexity coming off respawn still can't compete for the play ball.
It's a premature play ball as well. I mean, I think in most cases, or especially here at back green, is the draw is you have to bring somebody back towards back green to really punish them and bring them out of the play for long enough. Instead, they play ball it. Akave, scoop it up, bring it towards tower, and they're only 1 point away.
I have the snipe, but I'm 1 point away, so I'll pick up the ball. And we're going to a game 5, Dave. Complexity and Akave Esports going to go the distance after Complexity has the 2-0 lead. Akave match it with a game 3 and a game 4 win. And now 50 kills will really decide the fate of where these this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll see where these 2 teams are headed this afternoon. But taking a look at these stats right now, players on Akave, all of them are positive. Yes, there's been a single player who's only positive 1, I believe, where you have Acid. But you saw the kills that guy was putting up.
I tell you.
Putting up numbers, but when we're looking at who put up the biggest KD ratios, it's going to be Magico and Leuor.
Magico had 158 seconds of ball time and went 25 and 11. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, back on the Bravo stream, and we have Game 5, Complexity versus Akave. Street Slayer, the name of the game, first to 50 kills. And here comes the push from Complexity up Beast Rayos. Oh my God, Magico with the double kill, able to open up the map and potentially get Akave on the same footing that they've been on for the last 2 games, Dave. We have seen the momentum from this team really showing out so far.
They're looking real good. I mean, just unafraid to take these battles, take these fights, bringing the fight right over to Complexity. And they're keeping these spawns staggered for a long time. Ever since those first kills over at B Rails, Complexity has not been at full force just yet. Now, for the first time, they're all 4 alive, and luckily they have a little bit of a spread. They're not all just stuck in PD.
Acid with this camo now trying to push up B stairs. Does get shots on the RyaNoob, but forced it back down. Gets a shot and a melee. Oh my God, he's perfect on the mental with the melee 1 shot there. Keeps his camo alive, more importantly. A 10-5 lead for Akave and all the momentum in their favor. Complexity on the ropes.
And they knew at least one other player was somewhere near A or somewhere near B. They find out mental.
Wow.
That's where they're going to assume was the player over near the ATM. But at the same time, this feels like Complexity looks a little chaotic, a little lost.
Another melee trade from the camo player, but he's able to get away with his life several different times. Nobody on Complexity able to take down Acid. And so far, having a perfect game, 3-2-0. Spots the overextension, the push onto B. From the rest of Complexity trying to get out of Tram, but not without leaving Cherished behind. And Cherished goes down, and now Acid still playing perfect. KingNick gets taken down 17-6, Dave. All Akave Esports early on.
Not missing rotations and not missing shots. Acid doing it all here off the start of Streets, and this is a tough spot for Complexity. Feeling like they're a bit lost. It feels like they're trying to run out, trying to help teammates, and before they know it, they're getting shot in the side, they're getting hit with a melee.
KingNick sliding out into the courtyard makes it an easy 5 shots for Acid for his 5th kill of the game. Right now, 7-2-2 Leuor, 5-0-2 Drift, Acid 5-3-0 yet to die as a second camouflage coming up in 15 seconds. The game does slow down, but a 20-8 lead for Akave. Complexity have got to figure out a way to get control and secure this camo. It's a 4-man push towards B, and Acid still, for some reason, when he's no shield, he's unkillable.
That's 2 or 3 people too many pushing over there towards B. Felt like their goal was to take over B rail, to have an additional angle to try and take over this camo, but in the end, comes back to hurt them.
How have they not killed this kid yet? So many times knocked down to no shield, so much damage taken.
So many melees. Generally, a melee gets traded, that person's gonna go down, you know, from a finish or just even the melee trade itself.
Yeah, and you can tell Complexity have got, like, they're losing their teamwork throughout the series. What was once very impressive in Game 1 is a long story away from what the truth of the matter is here in Game 5, 24-12. Akave still in the driver's seat, and Acid still perfect as could be.
Yeah, Acid 6-5-0. No, he's not from the San Francisco area. He is just running up big numbers to kick off this game.
Oh my God, backs down RyaNoob. He can't be killed. Even when he's no shield, he's given the ultimate respect, and actually the disrespect from Ryan gets shut down as Ryan knows that his life was shortly to live there in Tram. The collapse was coming through, tries to take down Acid, but nobody can take down Acid at this one. 8-6-0, 2 away from a frenzy to start a Game 5. It is 30-13, and when it rains, it pours, and KingNick finally able to take down Acid, but not with so much damage dealt, Dave.
That was just an impeccable start there from the squad. And you got to keep in mind, even with that start, he was the 3rd highest kills on his team. You had Leuor and Drift leading the packs with 11 and 9, and they are not letting up. They smell blood in the water. They're going to keep this pressure on Complexity. Feels like every push that Complexity has, Akave have an answer for.
Yeah,
they're
just
ready. Matching firepower with firepower and winning the execution battle.
And right now, if you're Akave, Dave, you want to keep this pace up. You don't want the game to slow down to where maybe some potential kills.
4 people in the same spot.
It's just, it's successful this time around, but 1 kill does come through. KingNick goes down. It's a 3-for-1 trade for Complexity, but you need that just about every single time to get back into this game at this point.
Okay, I like this from Complexity, though, trying to keep some of the pressure on. It looks like
Mental
that. They
gets a
get
double.
Leuor, they take out Acid, and they can keep this pressure onto Akave, maybe stagger their spawns for a little bit.
Okay.
Here comes another pick at Cafe. I'm really liking this from
Leuor's here.
Complexity.
Leuor's Cafe behind these players. They don't know. They don't check. And because of it, Leuor gets a lot of damage on these players. But they turn around and take him down. KingNick with the Stalker rifle able to get some unbelievable shots to make sure Leuor doesn't even get a kill in that situation. When he goes unchecked, shooting players in the back, you think he's good for one.
I thought that was disastrous. I thought that was going to be, here's the backspec, here's the grenade lead, here's a free double kill.
The Shroud once again used to get the camo, and it's Akave that escaped with the camouflage. A couple of kills finally going in Complexity's favor, but 10 kills still separate the two. The lead that Akave built so early on is so monumental of a task to try and come back. You almost have to play near perfect to give yourself a chance at the end.
Yeah, in any other circumstance, going on a 6-kill beneficial swing right there from Complexity is everything you'd ask for.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just going to diminish the lead to only 10.
Yeah, it's still 10, but Leuor behind enemy lines now. A lot of information that, hey, they're not here. Complexity pushed into B, and with this camo, is able to catch KingNick, knock him down to no shield, but wise re-chow there. Waits for his camo to reset before he re-chows once again, and it makes all the difference here as two go down first. And here comes the swarm from Akave. It's trades, but trades are a win condition for Akave at this point in the game.
Yeah, they will happily trade this out. And the other problem here is, it feels like Akave, they're sniffing out these players from Complexity. They're seeing that they're all clumping up and taking their time. What Complexity are hoping for during some of those clump up is that somebody overextends. Somebody just runs into this massive firepower. They're hoping that somebody falls for the bait for this one shot. And what a great prediction nade from Leuor. Knew that there was only one way that that player could have possibly tried to run to get away weak at that cafe, and has a grenade waiting for him at the top of the ATM.
Yeah, that was a beautiful grenade, but an even better job to get two there. When he's in a 1-on-2, he's able to at least get one more to extend the lead, 42-34. It's an 8-kill game. It's not over yet, but Complexity can't afford to get caught off guard anymore. KingNick with a lot of responsibility here, but Acid's perfect shots will take him down and push the game to a 9-kill lead at 44. Akave find themselves needing 6 more kills to win this series against Complexity.
Yeah, they've been keeping this lead that they had from the very beginning. Yes, it's dwindled down a little bit from some great plays by Complexity, but they're reaping the benefits of that early lead. I like this. Not trying to push back too hard. They know where these players are at. They're hunting them down. They get that finish on KingNick. 3 kills separating them. And at this point, Complexity, they have to know it's perfect Halo or it's over, and I feel like they know it's over.
Yeah, 48 is just too much on a map like Street. You're getting pushed, and there's nothing you can do about it. Leuor finds a kill. Another Akave kill comes through, and it's 50-39, and we can hear the roars from the back of Akave with the reverse sweep on the Complexity to at least advance to elimination bracket round 1. They have more work to do here in pool play, but that is going to end Complexity's tournament.
Yeah, Complexity, no doubt about it. They are out. They went 0-3 in pools. There's no other win condition for them there. And just tough. I mean, they had it in their hands. They had a strong start to the series.
You're up
and then
2-0.
just little by little, Akave gets back into it. They start to get their groove, and they close out strong.
Yeah, and it's Acid. You asked him to shoot more, Dave. And shoot more he did. He was almost perfect halfway throughout that game. He was just about perfect the entire game. In my opinion, 102 shots hit. Accuracy still at 72, so some consistency there. And I told you every time I play him.
I can always be a stickler. It's 0.03% less accurate this time. Last two, he's 72.88, and you got to ask, is he slipping?
He's a peacock. You got to let him fly, and that was unbelievable. Acid, it was a pleasure to watch that gameplay. Akave fans are celebrating right now. Complexity fans scratching their head about where it all went wrong this Saturday morning. But that's going to do it for us over on the B stream with this series. Congratulations to Akave. Dave and I will be signing out.